Welcome back to our channel. Guys, I don't usually do stories like this as it relates to celebrities, but I used to watch this chef, Anne Burrell, on the cooking shows back in the day with my son. He loved to cook. And she's a fellow Brooklynite. From what I understand, she lived in Brooklyn. And this was a picture of her just 6 days ago while she was walking down the street in Brooklyn. And so I think it's a crime that she's no longer here because she was so young and so vibrant. Um, and her personality just showed on the show. She was full of laughter, and she seemed like she was such a person to light up a room and that you could crack up and have some good fun with. And I didn't even know her. This was just from watching a show. But I want to send my condolences to her and her family, a fellow Brooklynite that suddenly passed away from what they say is cardiac arrest in her home in Brooklyn. However, I started just asking myself some questions. What happened? And I don't know what happened with this situation. It could just very well be that she passed away. There was some underlying illnesses or something like that. However, I just wanted to find out, like, who was she married to, and what may have been going on. So I went to this article here, People. It says, who is Anne Burrell's husband, Stuart Claxton? All about his relationship with the Food Network star. So she was on that show, The Worst Cooks in America. I love watching her, but she was married to this gentleman here, Mr. Stuart Claxton. She actually met him on an app called Bumble back in 2021, and I think they got married in 2022. So they only had been married for about 3 years, and it appears that they lived in an apartment in Brooklyn. It says here, Ann Burrell met her husband Stuart Claxton on Bumble in 2018. They got engaged in 2020 and said I do in 2021. She passed away at the age of 55 this past week on the 17th at the couple's home in Brooklyn. And so I just kind of look into stuff like this. And like I said, my condolences to her family. I was just trying to get some more information as to who this person was that she was married to, because it's been said that there was a GoFundMe that was set up with a goal of $100,000 on GoFundMe. And I was thinking, well, were they having some, financial problems, or what was going on? Now, do I know if the husband set this up himself? I don't know. I really don't know. But I just thought that to be kind of strange, because when I looked up, it said her, net value was worth $6 million. I don't know what this gentleman did. I think he did something in advertisement or marketing or something like that. But I started looking at things, because I look at things from a spiritual and also from a psychological perspective sometimes. And Rachel Ray, who's another person I used to watch on shows, was there with Burrell when she got married. And she describes Burrell at the time on the Rachel Ray show that everything was magical. It was like, I want this fairy tale. I'm only going to be a bride once. And so when I start thinking of that, I start thinking of on the psychological type of spectrum, where a person really, really wants this fairy tale. And we know not everybody, but some of these individuals out there on those apps are predators. And it sounded like it was a very magical type of situation. She said they wrote their own vows, which she thought was cute and lovely, and they got married. From what I understand, he has a son that's about 20 some odd years old, and she was a wife, a sister, and a daughter, a stepmother, and a friend. And her smile lit up every room. And I can actually say that because when I watched on the show, her smile was infectious. But he met her, Burrell, on a dating app. This is the Mr. Claxton here, Stuart Claxton. I don't know where he originated from, but this is him. They first met on the dating app Bumble, and they both knew immediately they were right for each other when they first met. Those are red flags for me, guys. In my mind, maybe they were right for each other, but those are red flags when someone says, oh, it's just magical, because a lot of these people will love bomb you and they're so charming. And it says, I don't know if we had both thought of marriage, but we both were like, oh yeah, this is something, she told people. This is really going to be real, and this is going to turn into something. I don't know how you can know that from the first time you meet somebody, but okay. Burrell continued, once you get to be a 50-year-old woman, you see, she was at that age and she probably wanted to settle down and wanted this fairy tale marriage. You don't really think that marriage is going to be on the plate for you. I was always really focused on my career, and marriage was never a huge thing in my life that I was looking for. Then I met Stuart. My opinion about all of that changed. It says he worked in marketing and communications. I don't know exactly what he did, but they said he attended Swansea University, where he graduated in 93 with a bachelor's degree in Spanish and philosophy. But I was wondering, had he been married before? He then got his master's degree in media management in 2008 from the University of Stirling, according to his profile on LinkedIn. His career has taken him from working for Guinness World Records, where he stayed for nearly 13 years, to work at Time in corporate marketing and client solutions, as well as in ad sales marketing at Univision. He began working for Next Up in January 2023 as their vice president of marketing and communications. So he had his own career in marketing and communications as well. He has one son, Javier. So obviously he was with someone, and that's his son there. Little is known about Claxton's son, Javier, whom he welcomed during a previous marriage. So he was married before, but he has made few appearances on Burrell's Instagram over the years. Javier joined Burrell and Claxton to the ICC Men's T20 Cricket World Cup in June, and the trio posed for a selfie. He proposed to her in 2020. I wonder who his previous wife was, and I wonder what she would have to say. And I wonder if Miss Burrell knew anything about this previous wife. But this is the picture. She looks very, very happy, showing the engagement ring. Claxton popped the question to Burrell in April 2020 in her hometown of Cazenovia, New York, where the two were isolating at the time during the C-19 with her family. So a lot of marriages and different things took place during that C-119. And it looks like they were hibernating together with her family, and he popped the question. My mom and Stuart got together and made a plan where he and I were going to have a date night, Burrell said to People. We were having a nice time, and Stuart then starts saying, oh, this is a good song to put on a playlist for our wedding reception. And I'm like, okay, sure. But why are we talking about that now? We started talking about family and just how nice it was to be here with everyone. So I started getting weepy already, she added. Then Stuart pulls out a ring out of his pants pocket, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening. Claxton said he had already begun planning how he would propose to Burrell prior to the C-19 pandemic. I got the ring right before we left for Cazenovia over a month and a half ago, when we didn't really know. When we didn't really know how long things were going to go on, meaning the C-19. But I'm really glad I did it, he said. I think some silver linings come out of this whole situation. Burrell added, if it wasn't happening, we wouldn't be up here with my family, and they would not have been involved in the way they were. So, oh my God, look at that beautiful cake. Oh my God. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful cake. So that's their wedding day. The couple said I do on October 16th at the Windbridge Estates in Red Barn. The Food Network star arrived at the ceremony via horse and carriage, where she met her 4 bridesmaids standing at the altar. Claxton's son, Javier, served as his father's best man. So I wonder who his friends are. Who are his best mans? But it seems like his son served it. See, some of these things, guys, I am just using some critical thinking here. His son served as his best man. Where are his friends? I don't care about the cheese factor. Every time I mention the horse and carriage, Stuart laughs a bit. All right, whatever. It's my moment, and I mean to have it. Burrell wore a wedding dress by Carolina Herrera, and yeah. Burrell was called a beloved wife in a statement after her death. Guys, I am sending condolences to the family. And maybe, again, like I said, this was just an untimely passing. But what I would say to the family is, and for NYPD in this case, and for close friends and family, please come together and talk and share stories. I'm not saying anything underhanded happened, but I will say this. People can keep their mask on, but for so long. She was 55. I don't know if she had any underlying medical conditions. Get her cell phone. Was there any hint of divorce going on? Did she have a prenup? Did she recently change her will? Was she talking to family members or close friends about divorcing him or anything of that nature? Okay. Second of all, I guess, of course, being that she passed away at the home to do toxicology, she died suddenly of a cardiac arrest. I would just delve deeply to make sure that there was no funny business. I'm sorry. And what was his financial situation looking like prior to him getting with her, get in contact with the ex-wife? Who are his friends? Start talking. Ex-wife, where are you? Speak up. Say something if something is untoward. Did he have any financial issues? Was she saying that she was going to divorce him? You have to look at all of these things, guys. I'm just saying it may be nothing or it may be something. These are just some of the thoughts in my mind as it relates to her untimely sudden death from cardiac arrest, toxicology. Family members, please look throughout her home, her phone. NYPD, please do a thorough investigation. Who's the previous wife? I'm just finding it kind of strange because usually a grown man not going to use his son as the best man. Does this man have any friends of his own? Doesn't appear to be. He probably, I don't know, but I find that strange. There's some things that send up red flags for me. And yes, a lot of people do get online, but what I will say is, those social media apps like Bumble and things, a lot of predators are out there on those apps. And then there's some people who really do want to meet people. Did she really know who this person was? And I don't know, I might be inappropriate in asking that, but there was just some red flags for me as it relates to some things. Just let me know what you think. Again, my condolences to the Burrell family. I know they're going to, this woman, they say that she looks like she was in health. Ann Burrell served meals to Florida nursing home residents less than 2 weeks before her death. The smile said it all. Okay, let's look at this picture here. I would just investigate and make sure there was nothing that happened. This is her. How sweet. Wow, look at her. She was serving and being of service at the Care Ice Centers. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. You know, she visited them. Look at her. This is just 2 weeks before her passing. That is so sweet for her to go ahead on and do something like that and be of service. You know, they were celebrating. So I'm just saying I would just look into it to make sure that there's nothing else possibly that may have gone on. I'm not saying there was. I don't know. There's just some red flags for me, but she has some really sweet pictures and a tribute to her. And, her death was untimely. And that's all I'm going to say. Everybody is not always what you think, guys. And it's not to walk around with being hypervigilant or anything of that nature. But yeah, I just think that possibly to look into, just cover everything with a fine tooth comb. And, wait on toxicology, family members. Like I said, he was married before. And like I said, it could just be an untimely situation. We don't know. But there's just a couple of red flags for me. Okay. It's sometimes it's about timing. And sometimes if you want a certain thing, you may overlook other things because you want that, marriage or that relationship or, whatever it is. I'm not saying that's the case, but I'm just saying it does happen sometimes. And we can look at the news and see that sometimes it says all about Anne Burrell's stepson, Javier Claxton. She died on the 17th. She was a stepmother to Stuart Claxton's son, Javier. Let's see here. Legacy will continue. She married him. She was only 55 years old. So he was born in 2005. And this looks like maybe this is the stepson, Javier. So he looks like he did a lot of filming for her and welcomed him when Stuart welcomed him during a previous marriage. See, while little is known about his childhood mother, he appears to have had a close relationship with Burrell during his teenage years. My cameraman at Javier Claxton is the 15-year-old son of my fiancé. It's a family affair around here. That's the son there, but where's the mother? So it says the father's side, he stood by his father's side as his best man and gave a speech later in the night. I find that just to be a little, look, guys, this is just me. Where's his best man? He didn't have any friends that could stand in as best man for him, but he had to have his son do it. And was the son on her payroll? I don't know. But I would just definitely look into some things. They traveled together. They were a family. But I don't know. I would definitely get in contact with the other wife, the ex-wife. Where is she? Who is she? You know, all of those questions, the family, Miss Burrell's sister and mom, did she mention anything about the wife? What did he say about the wife? Did they say she was deceased? What is the story? Because everybody has a story. And I'm just saying, at that particular age on Bumble, it could have been nothing. But I'm just saying, personally, I would look into things because it happens suddenly. And I know they do investigate any type of untimely death, especially if it occurs at home. She looked like she was very healthy. She was touring and going different places. And I think a couple of nights before she did like a comedy show or what have you. So they need to go ahead on and check for any type of situation, all alternative drugs in her system that y'all don't usually test for them. And anybody, if there was any type of situation going on at the house that no one knew about, or was she looking to file for a divorce, had gone to an attorney, I would say look into it. But my condolences to the family. I enjoyed watching her. She was a breath of fresh air to watch on the news. On her show. And, I know that the cooking community, I'm sure, and everybody are devastated by this whole situation. She was very, very loved and liked. And Rachel Ray, all I can say is, things do happen suddenly like this. Rachel Ray was one of her longtime friends and was a bridesmaid. But I find it strange that the husband did not have any friends there for him. He had his son. That's very strange to me. I'm sorry, guys. Even when I look at other weddings, people have other people there. Like his best friend. Obviously, he didn't really have any friends. I don't know. So she seemed like she was a giver. In her last show, she said, I like always, from when I was a little girl, love the idea of hospitality. And I like providing. And I like sort of spreading joy. She was a giver. But then there's other people who are takers. And they're able to assess people and prey on people's vulnerabilities when they may be feeling low or sad or really want to get married. People will prey on that. Look, here's a key. Ray 56 during the conversation said, my mom hates it when I say this, but I'm like, as a chef, I'm a professional pleasure provider. Yep. She provides pleasure, meaning she was like a people pleaser from what I could see. Yeah. She loved that. She loved setting the table. She loved all those things. She was a giver. And then there's always people on the other side who are takers. I'm just saying, those are my red flags. My condolences to her family. I'll continue to watch this story. NYPD, get on your square, and family and friends. And if you're an ex-wife of him, share stories. I'm not saying it's anything, But my gut and what I'm thinking just in my mind, there's certain red flags for me. And the red flag for me, some people may not see it as a red flag, but why, if they're having a wedding, one of the most important days of your life, she had her 4 bridesmaids. You don't mean you don't have to have a whole bunch. He didn't have anybody. He had his son. That tells me a little bit of something. Y'all, like, share, subscribe to New York GA True Crime Files. I'll see you guys on the next upload. Peace, and I'm out.